Have you ever wondered how some owners can renovate rental units without actually having the tenant move out of the unit? Well, I always wondered that too. And in fact, I would talk to some investors out there and they would rave about these groups that were able to do that, where people still live in the apartments, they come and renovate it in a couple days, and then they up the rents. And I just always thought it was a very difficult thing to achieve until we started down that path to really discover how we could achieve that. And there's quite a few benefits that come along with being able to do just this simple thing. But a lot of people in general face quite a few problems when it comes to renovating units. So I'm here with Nighthawk Equity, and today we're going to talk about this and talk about why this is so important and why this skill can really change your entire business. So a lot of problems that people have when it comes to renovating apartments is it takes a while, and often you're trying to gather materials, match them with labor, and you could blow through the budget, you could blow through the timing. And so it can become a very difficult process. And your whole business plan is based on you increasing revenue as quickly as possible on your site most of the time. So one of the ways to speed that up would be to do an occupied renovation. But most people aren't doing that. What they're doing is waiting for someone to move out. Then they go and they walk the unit to see what needs to be done. They hire a contractor to come and renovate the apartment, and they have to match that up with the labor and the materials, and then they have to finish it ideally within 30 days, but sometimes it can take longer. They run into issues, there's backups, one of the contractors doesn't show up when they're supposed to. It's a whole sequence of events that can really get thrown off very quickly. And then while that unit sits in renovation and it sits vacant, you're in a pretty tough position because you're not earning any income. There's no revenue coming in. So the faster you can get it turned or get it renovated and get someone in there, the better for your overall site and cash flow in general. So why are occupied renovations such a good thing? Well, let me give you the first scenario. The first scenario is what I talked about, where a resident moves out. You have to go walk the unit, gather the materials, match it with the labor, sign the contract, get everything done, and it may take 30 days. So you're waiting a full 30 days before you can re-rent it in advance, but to get someone in there, it's going to take at least that amount of time. So you just lost a month's rent. Now, let me give you a second scenario. You're able to renovate the apartment while the old tenant still lives in there. Now you have a couple options. You can either have that resident pay the new rent on renewal, or they move out because they don't want to pay the new rent. And then you can just do a light turn and move the next person in within a week. So you're making back 3 weeks of revenue that you would have lost if the unit went vacant. So that's why this skill is so powerful. Now, if you multiply this amount of time times whatever amount of units you have in your apartment complex, let's say it's 250, you're speeding up revenue a lot faster. You're getting more income in the door, and you're going to make more money on your asset. That's why this is such a cool skill to have, and it can really change your entire business. So we went out to try this. We're like, hey, we went to our construction manager. So the first thing you need is a really good lead on this, good construction manager. And we said, we want to figure this out. And it may be painful while you're going through it because people have to move their stuff or whatever it is to get it done. But we were able to figure out how to renovate these apartments while someone still lives inside of them. This sets us apart from our competitors. There's not a lot of people that know how to do this skill. And we can actually go in 3 days, we can renovate an entire apartment while someone's still living in it. And we can do that in up to 10 at a time. So just think about that, how much progress we can make very quickly. And our competitors have to wait for each person to move out, spend 30 days to renovate or whatever it takes, when we can crank through these. And one of the benefits is that you can go in and redo, say, the kitchen and the countertops in the bathrooms, and you don't have to spend the extra money on maybe the floors and the paint and fixtures and other things like that. And you'll still get that higher rent when that person renews. So you're going to spend less on your rehab. Person's going to just continue to live there, and then they're going to end up paying more rent. So they don't even move out. So you don't even have the turn costs that exist on some of the apartments. That's going to happen. Other ones, they'll move out, but then it's just a light turn. You go in there with your maintenance team, maybe a painter, go and paint the unit real quick, replace the floors real quick, and then you're on your way with the next resident. So it just speeds up the velocity of everything on the revenue side. And these projects that we're doing most of the time are revenue plays. You're going in, you can lower the expenses, but you can only lower them so much. And so most of these, the business plan is based on increasing your income. And this is one way to do it faster and move through your project. Everything related to apartments, you're typically basing it on an internal rate of return, which is just a fancy way of saying your return based over a period of time. So timing is really important on these deals. And this is one way to speed that up so that your IRR can go higher faster and your cash on cash return can go up faster. So this is something that not everyone can do, but certain groups, if you can really try to figure it out, it can change everything inside of your business. And if you're investing with someone that knows how to do it, it'll also just make your investment that much more sound and ideally allow for you to have higher returns with those types of groups. So we are now one of those groups, which is great at Nighthawk Equity. And it's going to be really exciting to see how we roll this out across our portfolio in the future and future deals that we have. So thanks for tuning in, guys. If you want to check us out, go to nighthawkequity.com and click on either a deal if we have a live deal, or just click the join button, set up a call with us, and we'd love to chat with you. Thanks so much.